why is this happening? Not that necessarily that, but more in the forward direction. Why go this direction instead of that direction? How can I make wise decisions in my life? And the what and the how questions take precedent. And I've been speaking a lot about it, so I decided to share it in this way. The why question is a very powerful question, because if you have a clear answer to the why question, the what and the how become easy. And if you don't have a clear why answer to the why question, the what and the how keep, like a kaleidoscope, they keep moving. And now it looks like this, and something changes, and the picture is completely different, and the picture is completely different. And by coincidence, I stumbled on something that I had seen before, but I had forgotten. This is a motivational speaker named Simon Sinek, and he talks about this topic a lot. So there's his own scribble handwriting. Why is at the center, and the how is outside the why, and what comes later, or concentric circles out. Meaning, and he gives his examples. It's not just in spiritual; it's in life. It's in any something. When there's a very clear sense of why, then the alignment of the what and the how become much easier and quality-wise better. So here's the same in a different graphic. Life. So a common question that, as many of you know, something that I do often is speak at college programs and help young people understand what this image means, or at least what it means to me. Between life and death, there's a big space. And what goes in that space? Called life. Birth and death, and life is, and we're looking out at those two, and what goes in that space. What's the purpose of human life? It's a purpose question, or a goal question, or the meaning question, or making choices kind of question. And generally that leads people, if they're tuned in, having some kind of direction or purpose, as opposed to unrestricted sense gratification like an animal, unless someone is choosing that's what life is. But if a thoughtful person will not necessarily make that suggestion. And then, supposing you have an idea of what goes in that space, like what's life meant for. And then comes the question, the why. And then further, why bhakti? Of all the possible choices one can make as to why. It's very simple. Maybe it's making a mountain out of a molehill, but because it's so simple. But why bhakti? Supposing somebody, do it in a negative, supposing somebody doesn't ask themselves the why question and they go along with following, and then they stumble, and they didn't go to the trouble of asking the why question and getting inside, because it's an internal, and then comes moving out from the inside. What's inside comes out. So if they haven't had that why question answered well, and I meet lots of people that happens, like, why do you want to be a computer science person? Or why do you want to be a lawyer? Or why do you want to be a doctor? Or why? there can be material answers, but the material answers give some direction. And then if they keep going and keep going, and that material answer doesn't give the satisfaction that you were expecting it would give you, etc., then you have to hit the pause button and say, was that the right choice? Why did I make that choice? Was the right choice? And why? Why is such and such the right choice? Why? So for those of us that have chosen the bhakti path, why the bhakti path? Now there's answers, and there's more than one answer or right answer, or clear-hearted, clear-minded answer. It's a thoughtful approach as opposed to the blind following approach. You do because others are doing. That's why I do. That's what the others are doing, and that's what I've been told. So then you ask the question, well, why is that what others are doing? Why is that? Not obsessive, but thoughtful. Why? So we'll go to what Rupa Goswami teaches about what the bhakti process is. It has, as we all know, it has 9 stages. Celebrated verse. We conducted the Madhurya Kandambani seminar, many parts. It's just expanding on what this verse says. From the beginning, Shraddha, and going up to the stage of Prema. And then steps in between, and how to move from one step to the next step. So one could say the why is, according to scripture, the best means of achieving prema is bhakti. And therefore that's the why, to achieve love. So here's the bhakti creeper that's growing. And what is it about, if supposing one is, because many of us we're not neophytes, and we're not prema bhaktas either. We're somewhere in between. So in order to be motivated and energized and spirited towards the goal of prema, what is it that's about prema? It's notionally nice. Love. All you need is love. Do, 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 do. All you need is love. And love means different things to different people. But it feels, at least notionally, and maybe emotionally, and maybe initially, it feels nice, but somehow that which people think is love doesn't end up in that same space. So what is it about love or prema, or that's really the attraction? Why do we do what we do? Why? So, and one answer, scriptural answer, is rasa. To make a connection with the object of love, because that's, in the language of Rupa Goswami, subject, object, and the relationship. So bhakti is the relationship, but the relationship with the object. And what's attractive about the mature stage of being in a relationship with the supreme object is bhakti rasa, or prema rasa, or the taste. And our scriptures give us ample explanation. Certainly Rupa Goswami's teaching gives us ample explanation. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur does. Our acharyas give us ample explanation that the absolute truth is rasa, rasa vaisaha. And one who experiences that rasa, that he is the reservoir of pleasure, that the transcendentally blissful situation, it's a subset, it's included. So we were speaking, I like that, it's a nice topic, how to move from the focus of I want to be happy to the platform of love, that the object of love should become happy. And whatever that means, that's it. Transcendental love, or transcendental happiness of the Supreme. And what's our eligibility? Because we're little conditioned souls. Little covered conditioned souls, tiny covered conditioned souls. How can a little tiny covered conditioned soul give happiness to the Supreme? And then bhakti rasa is the procedure. And so some of us, all of us, are at least making an attempt to go down the path of cultivation of bhakti. We can say, with the idea that we want a taste, the taste of the taste of being in this relationship with the perfect person who can perfectly reciprocate our love, knows how and has the power to do so. Can perfectly reciprocate with whatever is coming from us to the perfect source, the perfect Supreme. And on the same topic that comes up, at least in japa retreat type of events, but in conversations with devotees, I can share with you that it's very, very common. You know, different ways it's said, but in the beginning, Zoom, and then, and then stuck in that space. So what happened and what to do? Why and what to do? Bhaktivinoda Thakur warns against what he calls slackening in devotional service. So there's some effort to like this, reaching towards the Supreme, because whatever the reasons are that one may come to, or we all came to that position, there was a lot of mercy that somehow came to us. And it seemed right, it felt right, intellectually it was right, and we were saying yes. And then we were participating with some back to the utsahan. But then when the utsahan slackens, then comes the next, the why question. Why does it slacken? It's not a pleasant topic, but it happens. And either we have experienced it ourselves, or we are experiencing it ourselves, or we know people that are dear to us and near to us, and they're experiencing it themselves, and some persons just kind of fade. And then some persons more than fade. And that's, that it's sad. So there are things to do, anukulyasa sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. You're all familiar with those two principles of sharanagati, or of full surrender. Accept things favorable, reject things unfavorable. So why is it that initially there's some accepting things favorable and rejecting things unfavorable, and then there's this reversal? Why does slackening happen? Because if you know why it happens, then at least you can be alert and put on the brake pedal and turn the steering wheel and redirect the direction of your life, or be of service to others that are going through that experience, because you have an understanding of why the cause of the slackening, because that can tell you or them what to do about it, because it may be a mystery. So that's what this topic is. This is coming from Bhakti Sandarbha, and it's a topic I plan to speak on Sunday, but it has to do with the opposite of this crookedness that's the starting point of slackening. It's a self-dishonesty. And self-dishonesty and presenting oneself to others in a dishonest fashion. And, from pride, our dear friend, false ego, and wanting attention to come to us. When the path of bhakti is attention goes to the lovable object. The nice song, the message of this nice song that Shruti just sang. So it's awakening to the error of my ways. So crookedness, so straightforwardness. Arjavam is the phrase that's used in Bhagavad Gita in the final chapters about 10 times. You can check it out later, please. Arjavam. That's simplicity. And the opposite of simplicity is complexity. Or rather than, there's a saying, you probably heard the saying, bhakti is, or devotional life is simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked. There are many verses that will not go into just now because I particularly wanted this to be succinct. Many verses that say, scriptural verses that say, the crookedness is the starting point of one's downfall. Dishonest to oneself, dishonest to others, presenting oneself in a way that's not what we know is correct. But because we want something, the limited and temporary something, crookedness, kautilyam. And from that crookedness, this is again Jiva Goswami's explanation in Bhakti Sandarbha, the lack of faith. Now, one could say the lack of faith is the cause of the crookedness, or the crookedness is the lack of faith. But if it's a dent in our faith, if we start being less than straightforward and honest with ourselves and with others. At least, we should have persons, a dear friend, or someone who we look up to, or our spiritual master, or senior Vaishnavas, or give any label, persons who we can come before, open our heart, and reveal anything, everything. Now, such persons may know already, even before we reveal, but they may not be touching that particular part of our heart because we didn't invite them in. Because sometimes when somebody doesn't invite you in, and you go in, and you, in an intention of well-wishing, you reveal something that you see, and it would be beneficial for that someone to be attentive to it. It damages the relationship. There's some resentfulness. But in an assembly of Vaishnavas, it's good to have that straightforwardness. And as that straightforwardness is compromised, or the simplicity is compromised, and one becomes instead crooked, then comes this next step, lack of faith in what Scripture says. Like, a classic example is the glorifications of the holy name, and thinking that, oh, this glorification is there in the holy name, but how is it possible? Because, like, just for example, chanting sincerely one holy name, or once saying to Ramachandra, from this day forward I am yours, making some declaration, and then the path to the spiritual world is open for you. Like, that's an exaggeration. Arthavad, thinking some statements in relation to the spiritual realm or the process of devotional service, specifically chanting or anything. So it's just a statement of exaggeration. It's not really true. It's being said to prop us up so we can do something. So it makes some exaggeration. Not having faith, eroding of faith in the devotees, the process, etc., etc. Then things start to become colored. We start cherry picking things that we like and leaving other things to the side because of faithlessness. And when that door opens, then there's another door. And that's the unfavorable things start to become attractive. And maybe things that we just left behind, we pick up again and think, there's something to this. Lack of focus on the objective. The personality of Godhead, Krishna is to be pleased. And then the next step, this is Jiva Goswami's explanation of the sequence of slackening, or more explicitly, falling from a vital, as opposed to something that's every day, and it grows and it grows and it becomes progressive. The opposite direction. It's not like a scare tactic, it's just the anatomy of going away from the goal, going away from the purpose of our life. And that's sad. And what to do when you're going through it, or you know someone that's.
Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. I think I was interested in hearing one or few points which are in how it is getting slack. But we'll stop here. We'll continue from tomorrow. Yeah, anybody would like to share points what we discussed today? Hare Krishna. Yes, Sharvil Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, that crookedness is the first point or main reason of slackening. So that was what I meant. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Maharaj. Yes, Prabhu. Chinekeshwaru.
Yes, bro. So initially Maharaj started with the question why. So there are many multiple answers given. For material reasons also we should give like why you want to be doctor, you want lawyer, something like that. So that explanation I like very much, bro. So that belongs to even clear for the how we have to do, what we have to do in bhakti process also. It is going on that lecture. Thank you. Correct.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question actually. Especially in the ISKCON Bhakti process, especially in the Krishna consciousness, crookedness or uh, false display or something. It's basically for some gain, or when we are expecting something to get. But then Krishna consciousness is more about uh, leaving the things behind. So until and unless there is a specific post, or something tangible visible, otherwise for all normal people, what can be the reason of showing themselves in a different color than what they are, or what can be the motives for I'm just trying to understand if what benefits they see of portraying themselves in one form than another form, because I don't see any material benefit or something of being in Krishna consciousness. As outside world, I can understand crookedness and all, because they can see the direct gain. What direct gains they can see here?
Mhm. Yeah, thank you.
Then
Yeah, there is a like from class, Maharaj was explaining about the pride behind this. So pride can be anything, but like devotees can answer this. Uh, Hare Krishna. I would like to answer Mataji's question. Yes, Kumari Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, I think that we cannot assume that everybody is taking up Krishna consciousness for the same reasons that we are taking. Some people may like the camaraderie and they would like to be accepted in in a circle, and they want that value for themselves, that they should be also recognized. And somewhere in life, maybe they're frustrated in other areas, in their career or in their house, and they're they're coming here with some expectations, and they're feeling happy when they're valued. So when you look for value of some kind, then you start because they will value more if I say that I am doing 32 rounds instead of 16 rounds, then they will look up to me, they will value me more. So we also get into the same old cycle of what we are doing in the material life, that we carry on those baggages and those expectations. Puja Pradishta Labh, they say, in Madhurya Kandamani, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura calls it. So sometimes in bhakti also we look for some adoration, some recognition, something which is, and we are experiencing for the first time some respect, or so we want to hold on to it. So we may portray ourselves better than what we are actually, not understanding. Actually, that is why the importance of answering that question: why did I come to bhakti? Why bhakti at all? So if we have the concept clear, why I am here, then the how and what I do will be depending on what I'm doing. That is what I understand, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the one part. But I actually thought, even for those people who actually never got respect or love, or they are trying to gain something, puja la pratishtha, but then that is like very hidden reason. Probably they will improve because of being in the with the devotees and something. Can we say it especially crookedness? Because crookedness is something, even if if they are trying to get love or respect from others, that is also probably a genuine desire of everyone. It may be in a wrong way. I'm not saying that it is the right thing. It is not the right devotee symptom, but still I don't feel it is a crookedness.
Here he calls itself dishonesty first. So we ourselves are dishonest with ourselves. And then we portray ourselves to be something what we are not. That is also dishonest with others. So crookedness can be interpreted as something very bad in the way that somebody is cheating other out of property or something like that. Or it can be in a very mild way like this, that we are cheating ourselves. So we may not be causing harm to others, but we may be causing a lot of harm to ourselves. So that crookedness, the word is used, Kautilyam, that has got different connotations in different areas. Mataji.
Okay, okay, Mataji. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Just to add to Kumarika Mataji, when Maharaj presented this, he said, crookedness is presenting oneself dishonestly, often rooted in pride. And if you just take the opposite of it, let it be something which is rooted in humility. In other words, it is the one which makes this crookedness obnoxious is the pride factor. And the pride factor often comes either because of our past achievements, or in some cases, or I don't know, many, it is a genuine need. I cannot even use the word genuine. It's a need for many individuals to feel valued. And to feel, if I need to be valued, I can do two ways. I can honestly say, I need to be valued. I don't know what is of value in me. And the acharyas go to the highest extent to say, actually, there is nothing of value in me. There is everything of value only in Krishna. And until we come to the highest pure devotee level, where we are comfortable with the fact that there is nothing of value in me, till we come to that stage, we struggle with what is my value. And in order to keep, we can sustain ourselves, we can keep our body and soul together as long as we feel there is value for me. The moment we feel that there is no value for me, there are so many people who commit suicide. Why? Because they just don't see that value of a life, the value of their mind, the value of their contributions, value of the world, nothing. They commit suicide. So to come, I mean, to live, to keep this body and soul and mind together, we need to have some sense of value. And for that, to get that value, it can be by saying, let me do something so that I can be of value for others. So the object of love, that is still on a spiritual path. Or when one is not thoroughly spiritual, one may be on the spiritual path, but one may not get this point right. It is still about how can I showcase that I did something which is of value for everybody. So it's a very subtle difference. My previous statement was, what can I do to make the other person valuable? And the second thing here is, how can I show that I am of value by doing something of value for others? The I comes in, that the pride of that there is an inherent greatness or inherent value in me comes. And to this extent, either we can do it straightforward way, and such straightforward people are called rash or brash, etc. They are rude, things like that. Or some people will do it in very subtle ways, crooked ways. And either of these, it slackens bhakti, because the object of worship goes from God to ourselves. It is we who need to be coming. We want ourselves in the forefront. And your question, Shweta Mataji, was, why does it happen? Do you think amongst many practitioners of spirituality does it happen? This is a phase that most practitioners of spirituality go through. It is a phase of life. As long as a person doesn't get attracted to the holy name and to the service of the holy name and the devotees, this is a reality. It may be 0.1%, it may be 99%. The difference is only in the percentage, but it is present.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving it very clear perspective. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, any comment, any point you would like to add? Anyone?
I want to add something, another point totally, but I want to hear from other devotees if they want to say something, and then I'll speak.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, this is what Maharaji was talking about, the crookedness. This is very, I also feel that like this is the subtle nature inside me. Like I also go behind this, what Kumarika Mataji was explaining. Whatever I'm not portraying, I'm that, I'm like that. So the things behind that, I should get some name, fame, puja, la, pratishtha. So this is also a kind of crookedness, and it will not help me in bhakti, and it will slacken my bhakti. But how we should come out from this kind of tendency? Little bit Shyamkund Prabhuji explained, but I want little bit more, like how to because this is very subtle nature. It's not seen sometimes like explicitly, but something is very deep inside. So how to get rid of this kind of nature?
Okay, Prabhu. Anybody would like to answer this Chandan Prabhu's question or any comment?
I have only one sentence. The moment this thought goes inside, that whatever I'm trying for, or whatever is there in my mind, or whatever I have achieved so far, is actually of no value. I mean, the moment that thought goes inside, that whatever I'm trying to achieve is actually of no value and can't give me the happiness what I'm looking for, then slowly we try to change ourselves. We try to change our inherent nature and what we are built up of. Our unknown personality also we try to change. But that thought has to go inside, that I can't achieve anything. It is useless and it's fruitless. At least, at least 1-2% has to go inside, as per me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, like here, Maharaj answered it, at least for me, since he said uh, we need to be accountable to someone, have some devotee to whom we can confidentially or like uh, confide all our feelings, right? What we are, or like when Samkunda Prabhu and earlier Varada Krishna Prabhu also said, should have a kind of relationship where someone can, if he sees these kinds of qualities in us, and we need to be pliable enough so that that person can come and give us that feedback, saying, okay, this is what I'm seeing, and we can have a conversation on that. Having that kind of relationship is very essential for us to be aware of, and and also see what best we can do to overcome it. So having a confidential relation, dadati pratigahnati uyamakyati prachati, it's like that's very kind of very core for us to progress further in our spiritual life.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So I also like that point where Maharaj was saying devotees may know about us, but it is very essential that we open up, because there will be a relationship dampening or damage of the relationship if someone try to interfere unnecessarily. But we ourselves have to come and open up our heart to some devotee. So that is very much important, and I like that point, Prabhu. Yes. Hare Krishna. Shamkun Prabhu, you'd like to add comment?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So, one last thing. Um, in the list of slackening, one of the things which, or the last two things which Maharaj said was Bhagavan Nishta Chavakaha and Bhakti Shatilya. There is laziness in practice and there's loss of focus on Bhagavan. And Maharaj said the loss of focus is because we are absorbed in other activities or other, he called it as unfavorable things. And this consequently leads to the laziness aspect finally. I definitely find, I mean, I can experience in my own life this. I too have gone through this, have gone and am going through this phase of being absorbed in many unfavorable things. So I like this point that Maharaj is bringing to the forefront. And what I liked overall in this lecture is the how much thought he had put to bring the why. I mean, if I were to put myself in his shoes, I would say he's doing his festival of holy name. If he's saying, if he has come up with the topic of why, it, normally one would just think of why to chant, and then go to the how and the what, etc. But he went to the negative side also. Why it doesn't happen? Why the slackening also, just for our benefit. So kind of him to think so much through it and weave the messages. And it's not easy to put all of these together in one PPT. It's a lot of introspective stuff that he has put in. And so when Maharaj said this obsessive Bhagavanishta Chavaka, the obsessive absorption in unfavorable things, I could also appreciate it better because past few days there is a devotee, Rajeshwari Mataji and her husband, Mukunda Murari Prabhu, who was staying in our house. And I can say almost for past 5 to 6 years, I have been waking up a little late and then only chanting. But when they came, every day he would just at 4 o'clock, no matter when he slept, he would wake up at 4 o'clock, Mukunda Murari Prabhu, and he would quietly go outside my house in the open veranda area and he would chant. And any other time I had seen that if I wake up little earlier, like before 5 o'clock, I would be tired for the rest of the day. But in the morning when I would hear his chanting, I would just be woken up, feel energized, and then I would also start to chant along with him. So the point here is such great people like our Mukunda Murari Prabhu and his very good wife, when they wake up and chant, he's just been chanting like this for so many years. That sincerity which he carries itself moves others who may be lazy, who may be absorbed in other things. So sometimes I feel that what is important here is like to be like our dear Mukunda Murari Prabhu, that just apply oneself to an instruction and then it becomes part of it. And then he did need not open even one word of instruction to me, but just his very behavior, his the way he conducted himself itself was good enough to just see how elevated he is. And it is not out of competition. It's just like saying thank you. Because only when one knows how hopeless one is, one can recognize what trait somebody else is giving. And I could recognize, oh my God, I could never wake up early to chant. And here, just by his very presence, energetically, I could wake up to chant. So I believe that Bharat's words today are helping me to understand my own absorption and to see the greatness in other devotees who come my way. That's it.
Thank you so much, bro. Yeah, there are so many points in today's class, and this is all about like how one stay away from slacking. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone. We'll stop here. Vanja kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।